I fully believe. Okay, in Volume 2, Peter's helmet's destroyed. It's also thematic. I want to really dive into this. I don't think Peter was meant to have his helmet after Volume 2. I think that they had it in Infinity War because it was very iconic, and I'm sure James Gunn really didn't have a say in whether or not, Peter had his helmet or whatever. That's why he doesn't have it in 3. In Volume 1 and 2, it has to do with authenticity and identity. And this isn't a reach. This is real. The first time we see, Peter is basically a kid playing dress up as Han Solo with Boba Fett's helmet on. In the first movie, when the mask is on, when we see Peter for the first time, we see he's kind of menacing. He's kind of mysterious. He's kind of scary. He's this big guy. He's got a trench coat. His silhouette's pretty intimidating, and he's in the rain. It's very moody. It's
looks so fucking cool.
It's awesome. It looks so cool.
And then,
cool factor cranked up to 11.
And then it's Chris Pratt. Disgusting.
Fuck this guy. But he takes his mask off, and he's just a fucking kid. It's just himself. I think that the mask to Peter represents a level of inauthenticity, a mask for him to hide behind, and posture as something that he really isn't fully. In Volume 2, there's some slight overlap in the third act of the film where he is wearing the mask, but he is also simultaneously being fully authentic. The mask breaks, though, when shit really hits the fan. And he's about to have his fight back moment. I think that in Volume 3, it's important that we don't see Peter with the helmet on because he is in himself, in his identity, he's actualized. He's already found his worth, and has come to terms with who he is, in Volume 2. His conflict, his central conflict in 3, other than saving someone he loves, is coping with the loss of the woman he loves. And I think, it makes so much sense that he doesn't have the mask. I think it's kind of weird that I understand why people might be complaining, especially since the precedent has been set by Infinity War and Endgame, and it's just so iconic and it just looks really cool. But I think it also makes sense from a narrative thematic perspective, and I want to hear y'all's take on what I just said.
I was honestly, when I first watched it, I didn't know the helmet was gone. It didn't even process.
Yeah, I didn't even notice either.
I saw someone on Twitter say it, and then you asked me. There was in the movie, and then I was like, oh shit, it's not in the movie. Oh damn. And then I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little sad about it. I really like that helmet. I think it looks fucking cool. But whether it's in the movie or not, it's whatever.
Yeah, it's
Okay, but your thoughts on my take?
It's a good take. I don't know. I mean, I agree. It's a better take than your Volume 2 take. I'll tell you that much.
Good hell. Yeah, no. But yeah, I think, that's pretty much all I had to say on that. I guess I know some people were complaining, and it's fair, but there's a purpose there. And I personally, the reason I asked you whether he had a helmet or not is because I kind of was hoping he didn't, because it would have validated my monkey brain analyzing, picking at the themes of the shit, and the significance of the helmet. But yeah, all right, that's it.
Chukwudi Iwuji, the High Evolutionary, he's is one of the best villains in the MCU, top 5, top 3 maybe. We haven't had a villain in a while, or I say in a while, it's been like a couple years, but like a new villain, I guess, that's just pure evil. We've had so many villains that are sympathetic and have a point, but this motherfucker's just evil. Like last time we got it was Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin, but that's technically a villain from the past, even though it was incredible. But I can't think of a time where we have had a villain like that.
And the difference is also the level of absolute personal like vitriol, venom, and hatred, like spewing out of the High Evolutionary towards a little fucking baby. You know what I mean? Towards fucking children. Like, this is so despicable.
He was phenomenal. And the part I was referencing that was like where he was hamming it up a lot and being really cartoony in a good way, mind you, was when he was looking for Rocket and he was like stumbling through. He was like, P13, P13, where are you? Like, that was like so unhinged in the best way.
I love that.
It was so good.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
And like, and he was like on his knees and he was like, he mouthed out like sorry and like crawled towards the, so good. Sorry, Tor, go on.
Yeah, I was I was telling Peyton how, like, I love when the I liked how the High Evolutionary followed the trope of, like, this guy with a god complex, right, who like has like a tantrum whenever he loses. It was like cartoony in like the best way. I essentially like loved how this guy felt like he needed to perfect everything because he didn't see it his way. And I feel like that's what like a lot of villains tend to do in like some movies and TV shows, but like I feel like that was executed like way better in this movie to me. But yeah, this dude is just purely evil, and I'm glad that throughout the film that it didn't shy away from like being like brutal and visceral, like that one part in the movie where he like literally transforms into like a turtle into like some like humanoid hybrid, and the turtle
he makes a Leonardo before our very eyes.
Pretty much a fucking deformed Leonardo, but the fucking turtle's like crying and begging for mercy, and then he just like, oh yeah, fucking kill him.
Yeah,
like,
it's a Lovecraftian body horror.
Pretty much, yeah. And it was like, it's like, damn, like he is like very cruel, but it was so like it felt very, very refreshing to see that in this movie. But dude, oh my god, High Evolutionary, especially like also I want to go into like the costume design. Very great.
Oh, it's amazing, and also the skin mask too.
Yeah, the skin mask was
so
really,
well done.
Cool. Yeah,
it's like we saw like a little itty bitty glimpse of like what sort of that prosthetic look would be capable of in the holiday special with Kraglin with the what do you call it? The thing on his head. What is it called? The fin. Thank you. Where it's like his skin was sort of like wrapping around it. It was a little gross. But like obviously this takes it on another level, and obviously on some Joker shit. I do want to
say in regards to and I know I'm going to be all over the place when it comes to thematic analysis. I want to say I when it comes to the High Evolutionary and when it comes to the portrayal of godliness or in Volume 3, I think that it tackles it in a very interesting way. Gunn uses Adam Warlock to contrast High Evolutionary in terms of godhood. And Adam Warlock, obviously at first, is this fucking bumbling, he's a kid. I mean, he's a kid in a grown man's body. Yeah, 12 days old. He's a baby, okay? Which
I imagine a lot of people are going to be pissed about.
Well, but that's how he's right. Yeah, it's ridiculous, but there's an amazing thematic purpose, in my opinion. But his innocence and his power, or whatever, is being co-opted by someone who's evil. God, in this movie, or High Evolutionary, who he thinks is he believes he's God. I believe Gunn uses him to. My friend put it this way: he has a lot of religious trauma. He said that God to him, the Christian God, is High Evolutionary. The Bible describes God as a jealous God. My friend was like, why would anyone ever want to fucking worship something like that? God is cruel. And the High Evolutionary and his God complex perfectly, I think highlights a lot of glorified aspects of godliness by a lot of people that really shouldn't be glorified. Whereas Adam, especially in the end of the film, where we get the Sistine Chapel visual callback, which is very beautiful, amazing. Adam, innocence. Again, God employs innocence and childlike innocence, right? And equates that to godlyhood, right? To godliness, to godhood. And Adam's innocence coupled with his powers and him doing something truly selfless after seeing this group of people do anything it takes to save the ones that they care about, to save their friend, and to save the animals and, you know, people and creatures from the High Evolutionary. Adam learns, but like, it's just so interesting, the contrast between what is in this movie, a true God versus the High Evolutionary, who is a jealous, cruel, hateful, spiteful God. And I think it's done wonderfully. I think it's amazing.
There was that Torrid, I saw it early because we saw Guardians of the Galaxy 3 volume. We saw it early.
Yeah, okay.
There was a line the High Evolutionary says, and Torrid and I were geeking out about it. It's when what's her name? His like number 2 is about to like rebel, and she was like, "For the love of God," and he turns around and he goes, "There is no God. That's why I stepped in." We were like, hard. Oh my God.
That shit went hard, bro.
Yeah.
James Gunn had fucking, his hand was on flames with arthritis writing that, dude. That shit was crazy.
Yeah, he made like such a fucking loathable psychopath, and that's such an amazing line. Oh my God. I remember that part of the movie. I remember going, damn. But yeah, that shit's awesome.
Yeah.
Fire.
It's crazy. But so basically what I wanted to go into is how, like I said earlier, how the humor develops characters, and that main person goes to Drax. Dude, I know, like, you know, people have the great criticisms about Drax, which I definitely can understand, but it doesn't really apply to me all that well. But this movie, dude, like, Drax was fucking cool. Like, he was fucking great.
He was so good.
Like, he was perfect.
It's like, I think James Gunn heard Dave Bautista's like criticisms and concerns about the character, and James Gunn really he really gave Drax, number one, something to do, but also gave him more depth, and so good. Loved him.
Yeah, we're allowed to see that depth finally.
Yeah,
like it's been hinted at for so long, and you know, barely shown, you know, through intuitive, you know, participation on our part. But yeah, and like, you know, just like certain lines of, like, you know, of course, when he's talking to the kids or whatever, and Nebula's, Nebula was like, "You can speak their language. Why couldn't, like, why did you say it before?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, you know, you didn't ask." And then I also like love the part at the end where, you know, they're evacuating everybody onto nowhere, and Adam Warlock is like, you know, "Why'd you save me?" Groot says something, and then he says, "Yeah, everyone deserves a second chance." Like I just like love that. It was very, you know, very, very emotional and very, you know, like fitting.
Yeah, and of course, you know, there's the moment where he's talking to the kids, or he's trying to calm them down. He was like, "I had a daughter just like you, and she loved when I made monkey noises." And obviously he does like the robot shit, and it was just the sweetest fucking scene.
I cried.
It was so
I cried during
cute.
that scene.
And he was like doing a little, and he goes boop to Nebula and Mantis. So good.
Very heartwarming.
I literally cried full of tears. That wasn't just like teary eye. That was like, oh my God. Like, I'm like, yeah. I thought that was so fucking
the music
beautiful.
was swelling up.
And yeah,
beautiful.
And
moment.
also I love the foreshadowing in the beginning where, like, you know, out of nowhere, where like they're all dancing, and Mantis is like, Drax, like, why don't you dance? And then he's like, don't dance, these for children.
This has been something
Dancy's
since the
pathetic.
first movie.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
This has been something
It's a running
for
thing.
yeah, and we finally see it,
Yeah,
and
we
it,
finally
again,
see it,
made
and
me
it
cry.
it just had, because it's been a runner for this entire franchise. It had that much more impact.
And hearing Nebula tell Drax, like,
You weren't born to be a destroyer.
you weren't born to be a destroyer, you're born to be dad, and he was.
Oh.
It was just ripped away from him.
Oh,
That just, dude,
Fuck.
broke my heart.
That shit. I think, yeah, and also back to what I was saying earlier, like, Drax exemplifies the most emotional maturity out of the whole team in this film. I think in this film, kind of before everyone else. And yes, he does make comments and make like, oh, like, hello moron, hello idiot. But to him, they're like terms of it's almost like terms of endearment. There's never any malicious intent behind anything he says to anyone.
that
ever.
or he just hears it from the other Guardians, and he just
Yeah. He is an innocent guy. I mean, he's obviously traumatized. He's not fully innocent, but he displays such shameless just love. He doesn't, and like Mantis said, and this made me cry too. Jesus Christ, he's like the only one of you who doesn't hate himself, and
Yeah.
who cares if he's stupid? He loves you, and he doesn't hate himself. Like, yeah, he's amazing. Oh my God, so good.
So
Yeah.
when Torn, did you cry?
Shit, dude, I don't remember, dog.
I cried every
Right.
minute.
Well,
to us.
actually, I didn't like cry, but I got like really teary eyed at the oh god damn it, I think I might cry right now. When Floor and Teefs died, that's when I got very, very teary eyed. I was just like, come on, dog.
Well, Will, when did the first tear drop for you?
The first teardrop for me when Rocket was singing "Creep" because
what a fucking pussy.
No, your first tear fucking shed whenever you sat down.
it's actually true. No, that's true. That's true.
You sat down.
When the Marvel intro started and it was just all Guardians.
I cried at the IMAX countdown. Seriously.
But you fucking cried when you bought the tickets.
I did. I cried in the car on the way there. I'm serious. I'm a very emotional guy. But when Rocket
Loser.
and look, I knew that. Whatever. I knew that "Creep" was going to be a Rocket song, and hearing him sing it, and also he's gonna cry. Like you see him. He fucking. There's one part where, he's walking through. It's so awesome. He's walking through this place where he lives, his home, with his family who loves him. But he is imposter syndrome. He doesn't feel like he belongs there. He fucking feels like a fucking abomination. And he's like, there's one part where he like wipes his nose and he sniffles a little bit as he's singing. And not only that, and then I broke down when Quill was drunk. I know that was kind of a comedy thing for a lot of people, but that hit home for me.
No, that's a perfect example, actually, because obviously we talked about earlier how, at least for me in Torn, Volume 2 wasn't maybe balanced as well as it could have been. But in Volume 3, that moment is a perfect example. It is absolutely a serious moment, and there is comedy in it. It's beautifully balanced.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh God, I was at the end. By the end of that, and when the title card came up, full on crying.
That title card was great. How everything, like all the sound design, just drops and it's just the song.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah. It's also going back to the Quill scene where some people were laughing in our theater, but for me, I wasn't. Like, I was like, dude, he's fucking drunk. Like he hates himself right now. And it seems
he's rock bottom.
Like, exactly. And of course, you're seeing that throughout the movie, like where Peter hates himself. He's like, I wish I wasn't drunk and I would have been able to save Rocket, after, he gets taken. It's a very, very very sad thing that happens. And it was perfectly balanced,
Yeah, the fact that that was brought up as if it was a gag, it would never have been brought up again. It was literally the movie is ruthless with its pacing. We're like 7 minutes in and shit hits the fan and it just doesn't stop.
Yeah.
It does not stop.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
It does not relent, and it's immediately terrifying because you go into this movie and if you're not spoiled like a normal person, don't fucking watch the movie spoiled. You are at the edge of your fucking seat, worried that someone's gonna fucking die. There are so many fake outs in this movie,
So
not to the
many
point where it's
fake
like distracting and it's like, I'll roll my eyes, fake out, blah. But like Drax has like 2. Rocket dies literally. Peter, when he turned around
Holy
at the
shit,
end of the movie,
bro.
I started shaking in my seat, squirming, crying. I was like, "Fuck no,
bro!"
And then I saw the face bloat, and I'm like, "They're not ending it here with a face bloating like this. No way."
I was telling Torrent, I was like, "There, like, if he died like that, I was gonna be so pissed." I'm like, "No way he goes out because he goes back for a zoo." And like, technically, it would have been like a parallel to the first movie because he goes back to get the Walkman or whatever. But nah, bro.
Yeah, I know.
Okay with it as long as his face didn't bloat up like that. That was the moment where I was like, okay, like his face is bloated and yeah, it's realistic or whatever. But like, what a weird shot if this is him dying. I was still crying. I was like so sad. But yes, there were plenty of fake outs. Nathan Fillion getting the shot on Drax, both of them.
Oh yeah.
Drax also kind of being laid out by Adam Warlock in the very beginning might have kind of raised a few, for me at least. I was like, oh really, this early? But you know, but for Peter, oh my god, I think the feeling of desperation throughout the whole movie is so fucking tangible and so well done. And I love how aggressive and violent Peter is for Rocket because he loves him so. But yeah, no, I love how everyone is so like, Peter and everyone else is just like, no, we're not stopping. Like, it's not over. And the moment
he
also,
needs to save his second best friend.
yeah, second best friend. it's like Peter. One of the moments that like really I loved it when he was like, when he was like, oh, like thank you, you know, for not killing me or for sparing me, whatever. And Peter's like, that would be premature. And he jumps him out the fucking window.
Yeah, exactly.
And slams him into the fucking ground.
Incredibly brutal.
Dude.
You know, leaves him underwater. It just doesn't even fucking blink twice.
Yeah, that's perfect. Again, like, I love you bringing some of this shit up. That scene, number one, brutal as fuck. So that's great on its own. But like, there's the camera work, man, because then it goes into like a handheld shot in the water and it makes it feel much more real.
Like
and
real.
Very
so
it makes
good.
it more serious.
Yes.
It makes it feel serious. It conveys that moment to you because it's like, yeah, Peter doesn't really do this. Peter is fucking, he's vengeful for Rocket. He because he sees what's been done to him and he loves Rocket. And it's like, oh my god, let's go. Like, they're not fucking around. They're like and I think that also holy fuck, this is kind of a segue, but the difficult task, because I don't think Gunn wanted Gamora to be killed off, and I think that's very clear. Gamora was fridged. That's something I stand by wholeheartedly.
She was fridged.
I think she was fridged in Infinity War.
I don't think so, man.
I think she was fridged.
I don't even know what that means.
Okay.
I know what it means.
Wait.
No,
Okay.
no, I understand. I understand what you mean.
She died for Peter and
Yes.
Thanos' arcs, which wasn't I don't think James Gunn's decision, because I think there's more story to be told with Gamora. So you have the task of, and that's obviously conjecture, but you have the task of giving us a Gamora that we're not used to, and also giving her an arc, but also not doing the stupid shit of they're going to end up back together. That would be so fucking dumb. Peter needs to move on, whatever. So for them to have this amazing like middle ground of Gamora, is her arc is she begins to understand why her future alternate self would love Peter because she begins uncovering traits that she values in Peter. And it's not so much that we have a completely different Gamora. We learn that it's the same Gamora. She learns it's the same Gamora with the same capacity to have these feelings. They're just on different trajectories. And I think that one of the key moments for this, when Rocket dies, and Gamora is staring at Peter. Like basically, Peter's like, I'm not letting him go. Right in front of the woman that he's being forced to let go. Right in front of her fucking face. Okay? And she begins to understand.
Yeah, even when he says I'm not letting him go, he emphasizes him.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not letting him go. Which is like, I think that oh my God. And I'm gonna cry thinking about that too. It's so powerful. Oh my God. I think that like it could have very easily, they could have just been like, no, I'm new Gamora, fuck you, Peter, and then barely have her in the movie. And that would have sucked. I think it was a very fine line for it to come across as satisfying, for to give us a satisfying Gamora in this movie, and they pulled it off. I think not just like barely, like flying colors. And Zoe Saldana's fucking killed it. Oh my God, she fucking nailed it.
Yeah,
Jesus.
when she was like, when she pushed him into the thing, and she like really goes off at him.
Yeah,
incredible.
That was scary because we know our Gamora, and so seeing her do that was like, oh my God. And also having Nebula having the roles reversed from the first movie, the first two movies, where Nebula she's gone through the
she's has one of the best arcs
maturity
in the MCU period.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely. Nebula is one of the fucking stars of the MCU.
Absolutely.
Without a doubt. Yeah. I don't know. I there's just so much to unpack because it's we talk about something and then it's like, oh, I forgot to talk about this. That happened like this part in this.
It's definitely going to be one of those things where we end it and we're going to be like, fuck, I forgot to talk about this and this.
Speaking of Nebula, can we all just talk about the fucking wonderful action scenes that she was given in this movie? Especially like at the beginning and like even at the hallway fight, or a corridor fight.
Yeah.
But dude, like the fucking, I love how like she gets fucking just dismantled and like disintegrated, and she like fucking morphs her way back into like shape. That was fucking cool.
Also thematically relevant because it literally is just how she's been all her life. Like I think it's neat that it's like informs her character too. It's like physical, like, oh yeah, she's literally like her bones are broken and they're like flopping everywhere. And dude, it was such a cool moment in the hallway fight.
I know she has wonderful black eyes that her father picked out a pretty set for her.
Yeah,
dude, that was such a funny improv moment.
Yeah, that was
apparently.
improv. Yeah,
so funny. Because I know Gunn has like a very tight script usually, and Chris was like, yeah, like we did this like fun run, and he like threw that in there and it just stuck. It was such a funny moment.
Yeah, he improv'd. I never noticed how black your eyes were. And then James Gunn, usually when they do improv, he's like in a chair with like a megaphone. He just like, say this. And he told Karen Gillan to say they were picked by my father or whatever when he was as a form of torture. And then Chris Pratt just came back like immediately with, well, he picked a pretty set.
So good. Also Peter just like, I love the initial moment of him just like looking over at Mantis like when Gamora's like it sounds more like Gamora's like, it sounds more like Nebula. It sounds more like her than me. And then Peter like looks slowly.
Yeah,
it's like looking at it.
Chris Pratt was on his A game, man. He was killing it.
No, seriously. Oh my God. It's so funny. It's like everyone forgot how cool Star-Lord was because they're too busy fucking hating him in Infinity War. And then he's like, and then he like rizzed up Ratcatcher 2 in her pink makeup in this movie. And he was like, just let me speak to them for my heart. And he's like, I'm not that big of a fucking idiot. He's awesome. God. And
fucking Riz God. Bro.
He is a Riz God.
And to bring it a little bit back to Nebula, I thought it was cool. I don't know what to call it, a parallel, but it was like when she first, you see that like dysmorphia when Adam Warlock just pummels her. and it's like scary. It's like, oh my god, because he really like pulls the shit out of her, and you know she comes back obviously, but in the hallway fight she uses it to her advantage and just completely demolishes people.
Dude, because like I remember like the corridor fight where like she gets her fucking like head knocked off, and we were like, ooh,
it's like
and
hanging
then, like,
on her back.
She fucking like dismantles like a fucking like a little guard, and we're like, ooh, dude, it was so cool. That
was like a one take too, and I didn't notice it was a one take.
Oh, you didn't notice? That was the first thing I noticed.
I didn't notice it until Peter's part was over, because you know what? I was so engrossed in it. I was so immersed, and then I was like, oh my fucking god, this is one take.
Actually, I think I noticed it was a winner when we got the scene with the incredible, beautiful shot of Rocket in the air, and I was like, and then it pans down. I was like, holy shit, this is a winner. Wait a minute.
You want to like, dude, that hallway scene gave me really like, or it gave me like Guardians of the Galaxy, the game vibes.
Yeah,
like for sure. Like I could just see like on the screen, like, pressing fucking Y, A or some shit.
Yeah. Getting all the Guardians to do all their shit all at once,
but dude,
ugh.
That's just incredible. But yeah, like the overall, like the action was like some of the best I've seen in the MCU. Like I today, one of at least. Like, especially me and Peyton compared the one move to Kang, or the High Evolutionary did, where he just fucking like blows up his whole fucking ship after like not getting his like orders followed, and it was like fucking crazy.
Yeah,
but yeah, the Adam Warlock scenes were fucking great.
I also wanted to say, before the corridor fight happens, the shot of Drax opening the door and the slow-mo out of focus shot that lingers is also really good.
Yeah, that was really awesome.
That, like, behind Drax looking down the hall at everyone coming towards them, and it's like, oh my god, like, what's gonna fucking happen. It was amazing. But yeah, keep going.
Before the line of Rocket, it was like, I'm done running. And then fucking the Beastie Boys playing.
Yeah, Beastie Boys playing and walking. Badass. Door open, Drax opens the fucking door, and then everyone's like, and then the hall fight happens, and it's just like fucking.
I know, it's
amazing. And I hate that song, but they made it good.
James Gunn and his fucking music is unmatched. Like, oh my god.
I fucking, oh my god. This Is the Day is my favorite track on the
to listen to the
album.
I have to listen to the soundtrack, but there was like this one song. It was after Creep. But there's like another song. It was
Crazy on You?
I think it was that one. But it was more of like it was like a rock track.
It's where Adam Warlock is about to fly in, right? That's Crazy on You. Yeah.
Yeah. That one. That was fucking good.
Yeah. So good.
I don't know who I saw, but someone was like, yeah, I'm not really a fan of like the third soundtrack, but like more than this. I think it was Peyton. Peyton, did you say that shit?
No, I said it was. It's probably my least favorite of the three, but it's still great.
Okay, yeah, okay.
I think that this is my favorite of the three, and then it's basically like also kind of generally how I feel about the movies, where it's like
3, 2, 1.
In 3, 2, 1, and which is not saying anything bad, because one is fucking phenomenal. And I mean, come on, this is my favorite film trilogy of all time, and I can get into my reasoning why, but yeah, but like, also I wanted to say, the most heartbreaking part of the whole film for me, when Rocket meets Lila and Florence Teefs for the first time, and Flora is asking if he can talk, and Rocket just fucking says hurts.
Don't even get me started.
That fucking broke me. That was a little fucking baby. Like, oh my god. And I love also the some people were complaining about how he left High Evolutionary alive at the end of the movie, but like the reason that makes sense narratively is because when he first messes him up and his friends are begging him to stop. Like, hey, let's go. Like, we can leave. Like, let's run. Like, don't. Like, just stop. And the last thing, you know, his friends saw before they were killed was like Rocket, like, you know, like
ripping into this guy.
And Rocket, like, taking that to heart and just kind of like, you know what, you know, it's like a Batman Begins, like, I'm not going to kill you, but I'm not going to save you, you know?
Yeah.
Like that. And I think, yeah, like, and Rocket had every right to kill him, you know? Drax was like, kill him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that oh God, it's this, oh my God, dude, I can't. I think it's just so comprehensive. It's so well written. It's so well thought out. It's so methodical, and it's so emotionally involved that it's like any I just can't find any flaws in it. And even if I could, I'm sure that I'd be able to forgive them because of how I'm serious, of how legit, like contrivances, conveniences, right? And those happen in every movie.
Yeah,
But
there's always
it
like
depends.
that. Like I am of the mind. I'm pretty generous with my 10 out of 10s. But I am also of the mind that like no movie's perfect. But I'm also not going to be like, oh, well, it's like a 9.8 out of 10 because no movie's perfect. That's that fucking shit. I fucking hate that shit.
Yeah, I think that also, and this is true. I think most people are kind of on board with this now. Character before plot, 1,000,000%. This movie is very character driven, even though there are things that happen that are like plot catalysts that, you know, happen. Largely, it's purely character driven. Yeah, and I did really quick. I know I'm hogging a lot of the time here. I'm sorry.
No, you're all good, man.
You're the super fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I did want to say. So my reasoning for trilogy stuff, it was in my review, and y'all read my Letterboxd review. So when I was discussing this with the friends that I saw the film with, and they're not even really massive Guardians fans, and then after 3, they're like, oh my God, like, I get it now. Like, you know, Danny DeVito in the theater, like, you know, they love the whole trilogy because they you know, we rewatched the first 2 before we saw 3. When you look, I feel like when we take a look at trilogies that are out, film trilogies, it's like we have things like Star Wars, which is of no wonder why it's so culturally so it's generation spanning. Lord of the Rings, perfect fantasy trilogy, amazing adaptation. You know, The Godfather, even though one of them is kind of like and Peyton's not a big fan, and everyone's like I'm kind of It's like, you know, Godfather, like, we get it, like, I understand. Raimi Spider-Man, Nolan trilogy, whatever, right? I think that no trilogy within a comics, within, you know, film in general, none of them have made me feel the way that I feel these trilogies have, this trilogy has, right? Like, none of them have made me care more about a group of characters, or cry as much or miss them as much, and it's not even like one of the movies is a lull. There's no movie that's like a dud. No movie is everything is thematically congruent, cohesive. The story and the character development is top notch, and it's so funny because the movies grow with you, and as you watch them, and I think it's and I think that the time gap between 2 and 3 has a lot to do with that in a positive way. Yeah, I think that it lent itself, it allowed for a darker, more mature, and more thematically complex film because its audience grew up with it, grew between the 2 movies, and I think watching the trilogy,
And Marvel Studios grew.
Yeah, Marvel Studios grew as well.
Because now they're willing to push things a little bit more.
James grew. Yeah, Marvel Studios grew. And the landscape of film grew. So, it adapted. And watching the trilogy now back to back, irrespective of any of the context, even just viewing the story as a straightforward thing, the themes and whatever straightforward, it's phenomenal. I think it's and to me, that's why it's my favorite trilogy of all time film. But I think that an unbiased take, I think that it deserves to be in talks, in conversation, to be a top 3 or in trilogies in general. And that's a probably hot take. But I do think that it does deserve to be in conversation outside of the scope of CBMs.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you entirely. And as far as like trilogies ever, I'd have to get that to Back to the Future personally, but that's just me. But when it comes, but obviously, like you said, a lot of people would definitely say Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, what have you. But comic book trilogies, that's just up there.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's just. I'm trying to think of like things that would contend with it. Everyone in their fucking mom would be like, the Dark Knight trilogy. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, literally, no one cares.
Yeah.
Literally,
the Dark Knight Rises exists. It's already out. It's gone. It's been Guardians of the Galaxy is better.
Begins is the only W you have. Just take it and go.
Even if we do include the Dark Knight, still Rises. like Gunn is 3 for 3 and Nolan was 2 for 3. Spider-Man, the Raimi Spider-Man trilogy, again 2 for 3. It's already out.
2 for 3. Captain America trilogy.
It's 3 for 3.
It's 3 for 3, but the first movie is
not
still
it's not as strong.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I could only like the MCU Spider-Man trilogy. I love Homecoming. I love No Way Home. Far From Home is a little, but I'm also feel the same way about Guardians 2. Regardless, the highs of the Guardians trilogy are still higher than the MCU Spider-Man trilogy, so it is higher.
Yeah. Also, them hugging after that. Oh my god,
no,
made me cry.
I think the only trilogy comic book movie trilogy that would surpass. Or that does surpass the Guardians trilogy is, of course, the Zack Snyder Justice League trilogy. Man, it's still BVS. It's Zack Snyder's Justice League.
The theatrical releases only.
Exactly, of course.
Yeah, I think that the theatrical release of BVS just beats any other movie of all time. What a fucking mess that was.
We got the original X-Men trilogy. The Last Stand is there, so it's out. You got the Beginnings trilogy, but Apocalypse is there, so it's out.
Yeah. Come on.
Guardians
Wolverine trilogy, you have Origins, so it's out.
Yeah. Guardians might be the best superhero trilogy of all time.
Yeah.
Unless there's something that I can't think of. But
say it with your chest.
It is.
It's okay. Yeah, it is.
It is. Part of it hurts because I'm biased towards Spider-Man in it.
I know. But hey,
it's to me, the MCU Spider-Man trilogy is the closest to Guardians.
That's
IMO.
Fair. That's fair.
Yeah,
I think to me, the closest would be the Captain America trilogy.
That's fair. Yeah, Spider-Man and Captain. Yeah, those are pretty. Yeah.
Yeah, very good, very good. And yeah, I just think and then in terms of. Again, to me, what I value out of a movie, I'm a very sentimental, emotional person, and I love stories about. It's like, oh, there he is. Hey, what's up, boy? Hey,
dumbass fucking laptop died.
Oh, the laptop died.
It's crazy because like I have this shit plugged into the fucking charger like all day, and then like I guess it just.
That's why
or something.
It's time to get a full-on PC.
Yeah, it's because your battery is like overloaded if it's plugged in all the time. Oh, but
no, that's no. It wasn't connected to the charger. That's why. Because HP has fucking shit battery life. Yeah.
Wait. I was gonna say something. Fuck. Oh yeah. So it comes down to what you value most in a film. For me, I'm very emotional, and I love stories about. I love what I really love about Guardians is that it's very realized human, probably the most realized and human. Like when you watch them just interact with each other, it's like, yeah, these are like real people, especially in 3, where like even the most minor character interactions just inform so much about character and are just like yeah, like it's buyable because we've been with them for so long and they're very grounded people. But it's also so fucking fantastical where you literally have like a talking fucking raccoon, a giant tree man, a cyborg woman, a pro wrestler, and they're in space fighting like pig monsters and like baby golden gods. You know what I mean? I think I love that it's able to do that, where it's able to be so fucking out there, but also present trauma and trauma responses and overcoming that trauma in such a realistic and believable way through the lens of this fucking fantastical universe and over the top action and humor and heart. And I think, again, bringing it back to trilogies, what I value is how this makes me feel. Star Wars makes me feel a whole lot. And I appreciate it for its political nuance, but it's less of the trilogies and more of an overall scope of the universe. Lord of the Rings, it's fucking amazing. It's so gripping. It's beautiful. Still probably some of those beautiful movies I've ever seen in my life. But it doesn't move me. It's compelling, but I'm not really moved all that much. And I can go on and on and on. But Guardians of the Galaxy speaks to me personally. And at the end of the day, all this is subjective anyways, but yes, to my tastes, to what I value in films, technically, through writing, through execution, through storytelling, character development, casting, everything like that. It's just the whole comprehensive, the everything to me. And yeah, I'm grateful for it, and I'm grateful to call it my favorite trilogy of all time.
One of my favorite things about this film compared to the other two, the stakes are, on a grand scale, are a lot smaller. On a personal scale, it's fucking huge. But on a grand scale, like the first one is like if he gets the Power Stone, and it's the fucking Power Stone, it's the fucking Infinity Stone, could destroy everything. Obviously with Ego, it's like he's got all these like plants and shit on other planets that'll like engulf them all and kill everyone on the planets. And this one's like, yeah, I'm making another Earth with some things that I made.
Yeah, and save Rocket.
Yeah.
Too. It's like, yeah. I love that. I love how like, yeah, like it's interesting also the way that scale is just over the course of all of the movies, how it changes. Like the second movie, setting wise, much more intimate, much smaller scale setting than the first film. First film was more of a full on spacefaring like adventure in my eyes. And 2 was like, we're on a planet for a while. That's it. But the stakes are bigger. But it's also more intimate than the first one, character wise. And then like the third one, it now, yeah, like you said, yeah, on a bigger sense, the stakes are much smaller. But then in an emotional sense, the stakes have never been more fucking dire, and that's why the movie feels so desperate, which is such a unique tone. It's such a unique and mature tone, and it's handled so well. It's conveyed so well. I love it so much.
One of my favorite things about this film, like we've been sort of talking about it the whole time, but James Gunn was allowed to go a lot darker and also a lot more violent. I was not expecting for them to show Bro's face just gone.
Yeah,
because like they ripped off the face, and I was like, oh, that's already pretty gross and a little bit violent, but there's no way they're going to show the face. And then they show the face. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, I know. Like one of the first like reactions for like James Gunn's like the Guardians movie Getting Darker was when his own wife got shot in the leg.
That was the funniest.
Yeah.
But it was like played so real, like it was
Yeah.
comedic, but it was like, oh, like she like literally got shot.
Yeah,
You know what I
it was
mean?
so
Yeah.
fucking funny, bro.
We're just like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
And then like the other time where like where it got like really really dark was like Will, you mentioned it earlier, where like Peter just jumps out of like the fucking high evolutionary ship with that doctor and just slams him to the ground, and like his
Groot helped
head,
him.
yeah, Groot helped him,
Groot-
dude.
And also when Peter was like, kill everyone.
Yeah,
So badass. Oh my god. Chills, dude.
kill him all.
Rocket ripping the guy's face off. So cathartic. And then what you end it on whenever the face is revealed, the High Evolutionary is just this fucking, it's such a satisfying, rarely do you get a very satisfying ending for such a hateable villain. But it's like, yeah, like he was dispatched easily because he's a pathetic fucking worm. This guy's a fucking baby. And he's such a pathetic, writhing piece of shit. And when his face was like peeled off, it was like, oh my God, yeah. Like, oh, it's a pitiable, he called Rocket putrid. This guy's fucking putrid. You know what I mean? It's awesome. So good. Sorry, Torn. Go ahead. I'm so sorry.
But
Ugh.
I'm glad that like James Gunn was able to go like above and beyond in the means of pushing the limits on this film. And see, look at this fucking, hold on, let me see, sorry, hold on.
Are you looking at people's reactions right now?
No, I'm looking up the rating of it.
Oh, Rotten
Yeah.
Tomatoes has it on like a
Yeah.
67
No,
by
fucking,
critics.
no, dude, like this fucking like proves that
Like for what? For Guardians?
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, Metacritic has it at a 67.
I'm talking
Oh,
about like
Metacritic. Okay.
No, I'm talking about like, the rating of like if it's PG-13, of course.
Oh yeah.
Fucking yeah, this fucking proves that you can fucking push, like you make fucking PG-13s like to to its limits.
Oh yeah.
Fuck all those. Everything needs to be rated R. Fucking pussies, dude. I swear to God.
I hate
still.
that they released it. I didn't see the F word clip, but they released the F word clip
Oh yeah.
ahead of the movie, but which sucks because seeing it in the like, my friends didn't tell me about it at all, but like I'm glad that I just saw it in the movie because like open the fucking door is so funny.
Yeah.
That was delivered so funny.
When Torn and I saw it early, because we saw it early, we could
Okay.
you could sense the audience like here it is, it's coming. And then
Yeah.
it finally came and everyone was like, yay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I finally came.
Oh
What?
Jeez.
I meant like it came to the theater, dude.
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
No, but to think, I'm so happy that James Gunn got to do the first MCU F-bomb instead of like Deadpool. Because
He deserved it.
he absolutely
James.
deserves it.
And for Guardians to do it, the one that's like it's so funny because the first Guardians movie, I feel like at the time was the most all for the whole family movie. You know what I mean? And now it's like we're here, and I would not really advise small children to see this movie at all. Like, it's just different. I think it's so interesting to see how it's evolved, and yeah, James deserves it because, I mean, come on, dude. I don't know. It just makes sense to me.
No, yeah, I agree. Yeah, small children. Yeah, yeah, probably shouldn't see it.
Yeah,
I mean, dude's face is ripped off. I mean,
dude's face is ripped off. Baby Rocket.
yeah, just animal torture, just general.
Animal torture. Oh, also, I want to say, one thematic through line that is present through all movies, just to varying degrees. The first movie is kind of mild, but it's hinted at with Nebula and Gamora, and then kind of do with the context of the second movie, and then the second movie it's very present, and then the third movie it's parental abuse and how High Evolutionary was an abusive dad to Rocket, and like the moments where he would like praise him, and then he would get real close and squeeze his head,
Yeah.
Hold him like that. Like, it's just such a brutally, like, it's such an uncomfortably real thing. And I think that, like, yeah, I don't know. I laud the fucking movie for it. I think it tackles it wonderfully, and it's just interesting because you see this very over the top cartoonish villain. He's like a fucking Dick Dastardly type, and he's like, like a Shakespearean whatever. Like, he's just over the top, and then he just gets in real close to this fucking baby, right? And like it clearly takes pleasure in lording himself over it. I don't know. It's just. There's nothing but praise, and I think it's moments like that, along with many other moments, where I think yeah, like smaller kids are probably going to have a harder time with this movie, and moments where also the jump scare, the animal. There's a jump scare with the animal transforming.
Oh yeah,
Drax getting shot in the front and the back. Another moment. Rocket. The first time they use the med pack on Rocket, and it's not fucking working because he's too fucking small, and all it does is like cauterize the gaping, bleeding fucking, you know what I mean, like mess on his chest.
Yeah, and he's like foaming at the mouth and shit.
Yeah. Yep. And parts where he's like barely able to breathe, where there's like fluid in his lungs when they say that shit. Like, yeah, I would not say this movie's for kids. And I think that Chris was right when he said, this movie was made for people who were 14 when the first movie came out and grew up with them, now are adults now or whatever, because thematically it's very mature, not in the very superficial maturity way where it's like, it's just over the top gory to be gory, and profane to be profane. It's like the subject matter is very, very serious, as it always has been in Guardians, but it's just that much more real. And a little distressing, but it's amazing.
Yeah, and it's like we're at sort of a point in the MCU where I feel like people sort of criticize things that aren't even there anymore just because it's a Marvel movie. Because I see a bunch of reviews that are generally positive, but they're also like, it's still a Marvel movie though. They got jokes in it, like, you know what I mean?
People have made up their mind and they just hate the MCU.
Yeah,
like. I get it.
It is what it is. But like to go back to the villain, I was telling Torn, I feel like High Evolutionary. It's almost not fair. It is fair, but but like he sort of out Kang, like, you know what I mean? Yep. Even when he did like the whole, like when he was about to get when they're about to like take over the ship or whatever, his crew, and he just sort of rages out and just has like a big explosion coming out of the suit. I mean, that was just straight up Kang, and it was way more, impactful. But the two things we've seen him be the sort of like, it's like Scatterbrain and shit in Loki, and we saw like a little glimpse of like a little itty bitty baby glimpse of what he could do in Quantumania. So we really haven't seen him at like his full power or whatever, but the High Evolutionary really fucking brought that shit. And people are saying like, if they have to recast, they could like totally retcon and like make Chuguri Uji the new Kang and just say High Evolutionary is a fucking variant. I'm kind of on board with that.
Yeah. I'm good with that. Like, he really did steal the show. It's so funny because like the most instant recent comparison we have, and as unfair as it is, it's still in the same continuity, is Ant-Man. This is we got Midamania followed by Peak. I know y'all love Ant-Man 3. I know it's okay to be wrong.
It's fine.
Let's say I loved it.
I mean, it's
okay. Y'all said you loved it.
I'm just not a fucking hater like everyone else. Like, I actually like.
You should be a hater.
No, I mean, like, it ain't the best MCU movie. I mean, I just think it's fine. Just like Thor, just like Love and Thunder, people fucking hate that movie. I just think it's okay. Payne loves it though.
It's a great film.
But would I watch it again? Probably not. Same thing goes for
It's like
quantum.
meth. It's like meth. Like yes, like it's fine. But would I do it again? No.
I
It's
don't
not
know,
like
man. I'm
crack.
not fucking Walter White.
It's not
taking that
like
shit.
crack, which I do that every day. But I also I wanted to make a comment. Rocket, Rocket, when he goes in and he sees the raccoons and he saves them, and then he finds out he was taken from a wildlife park on Earth and that he's a raccoon, and like then him like using that to totally reclaim his identity, you know, fully actualize himself, call himself Rocket Raccoon, was a very nice payoff.
So cool.
Also him like in that, back to that moment of him rescuing those raccoons and looking all around him and just breaking down into tears, just seeing like the crushing weight, like feeling the crushing weight of like, oh my God, there's just so many animals here, you know, and it's heartbreaking. And I love like, I don't know, I just really think there was such a beautiful emphasis on saving just everything, you know, saving like everything they could, was really awesome. And I love that the main focus of this movie, even as violent as it is more concerned, in my opinion, directly with saving people than a lot of other superhero movies are, in more of a focused sense versus like, oh, we save the world, we save the galaxy. It's like, you know, we're like, it's a smaller scale, but we're going to do everything we can, and we're all almost going to literally die to do it.
Yep.
Also, end scene's amazing. I forgot the name of the song, but Florence and the Machines. But like where they ended that movie, everyone dancing. Also, Peter going back to see his grandfather and be there. I think that made me cry.
I meant to say earlier, like, even though it is Rocket's movie, I'm very happy, like, a lot of the focus is still on Peter, and we still got a lot, like, he wasn't just stagnant, you know?
Yeah, I was a little worried that would happen. And it's just interesting. We were able to get a Rocket movie where he was pretty much out of commission most of the time. And it's mainly like, you kind of begin to see like, I thought it was so beautiful to just see how much everyone loved him and how willing they were to just, you know, risk everything to just for the chance of saving him. Yeah. And how much we get in flashbacks. I think the flashbacks were handled very well. They were not super jarring. They blended well. They were also timed, like the bits of information that we received were timed appropriately. They were spaced so that we were able to digest them properly, because the movie had a lot going on. And you know, yeah, I think ending any, you know, the only thing that I'm nervous about is the character that's returning is Star-Lord, because I don't want them to fuck him up. He's my favorite character. And I also know Chris was like, you know, he'd only come back if it was really, really, really good. And he seemed very serious about that. And it looks like since he's returning, he found something really good. So hopefully it's good. But in my opinion, I think Mantis or Nebula or Rocket, either any of those would have been like the surer characters, the safer characters to continue with, in my opinion, especially Mantis and Nebula.
Yeah, there's still a lot that we can get from Mantis.
And I'll wrap up my point by saying the one way I can see the one issue I have with pulling Peter out from where he is now is if more is taken from him. I think that would be a little cruel, like if his granddad died or something, whatever, and then he got called into action because of that. I think that the most realistic thing I see happening is hopefully he comes back for like King Dynasty or Secret Wars or whatever, and the reason he does is to defend the life that he has on Earth, and then maybe to help out Rocket and his team if they show up. And if he dies doing that, then I'd be fine with that. But like, I don't want him to be called back into something and be like traumatized again. Like it has to be like a Toby thing, like where Toby comes back in No Way Home, and he's actualized. He's finished his arc. It's not like he's called into action because something fucking traumatic happened. He's there using his experience to help, the new guys, to help him out.
Yeah.
To help out Peter. Yeah.
Can we talk about Nathan Fillion?
Yeah. Oh my God.
He was so good in this.
God, he's so funny. I love the running gag of like, he's an idiot. I got a guy. I got one of those. Yeah, it's so fucking funny.
It would like, he's so like, I always admire actors who can convey like everything just with their facial expression. And like the way he, like the first time he did that bit and he turns around and he just stares at him. And he just, the faces he makes are just pitch perfect. He's so fucking good in this, which just pissed me off more that we won't get him in a fucking main role in the MCU. Like, I'm happy he's in it. He was brilliant, but god damn it.
He also played the character where they did the prison rape joke in Volume 1, which
he was gonna play Wonder Man in Volume 2, but his role got cut.
Oh, he is the perfect cast for Wonder Man. Ugh. Where the fuck would you put Wonder Man in Volume 2?
I don't remember. I just know that I think there was at some point, like there was like a movie poster or something, and he was on it as Wonder Man. And
on Earth, maybe like like one of the scenes on Earth where like they're running from the blue glob. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, like also, again, fuck the people who say he's too old to be Nathan fucking Drake. Go to fucking hell. He is not. He is a perfect Uncharted 4 age Nathan Drake. He is literally a living, breathing Nathan Drake. And he's proven himself to us by making a fan film where he nailed it as Nathan Drake. He just is Nathan Drake. His real name is perfect. Nathan. Like, what the fuck? He's perfect.
And what's hilarious in the show, The Rookie, his name is Nolan.
Oh my God.
It's like they know when they're rubbing it in. Like, god damn it.
Look, yeah, I just, people, Jesus, I just, what the fuck? Imagine settling a Mark Wahlberg for Nathan Drake for years and being too stubborn to change it, and then eventually he just gets too old, so you're like, make him Sully and bring in Tom Holland, and then like you make Uncharted, and then The Last of Us comes and is like, hey, we're really good, and then like I'm over here fucking dying, drowning. If the price I have to pay is I don't get a good Uncharted movie, but I get Volume 3 and it's amazing and I get a perfect trilogy, that's fine, I guess. Whatever. Yeah. But to know that in another universe, Nathan Fillion is Nathan Drake and it is like a blockbuster film series.
And he's Wonder Man.
And he's Wonder Man. And he's Superman. I'm just kidding. But,
he's Green Lantern.
They're going to, oh my God, amazing. He'd be an amazing Hal Jordan. And he is. Yeah. But they should bring Patrick Warburton as Superman again. Bring him back. But live action this time, baby. That would be so stupid. That'd be so funny. Sorry, that was such an ADHD tangent. Yeah, the tick, yeah. Such a tangent on my part. I'm sorry.
Imagine he was the one. Imagine Nathan Fillion is just amazing in this, and then he was the one. He's the one that kills Drax.
I know. I was literally like, oh my God. Did he kill Drax?
Yeah, it's like, not Nathan Fillion, no.
I was like, oh my God, like, no way, this is where Drax dies. Thankfully, it wasn't, because like then you remember in the trailer, like, oh yeah, he walks away, he's walking, and I had to double check when they had him on his shoulders, like, okay, he's moving his legs, he's alive. I was like, okay, good. But also, Drax shedding his first tear, saying goodbye to Mantis.
Oh,
come on.
Oh, and then the one that really got me, because the first time I cried was not when Rocket was dying, and then he basically died. I actually didn't cry there because I think based off all the trailers, I just kind of accepted his death. But then when he came back to life and Peter and Groot were hugging him, that fucking crushed me. I was like, oh no. But then it was like a 1-2 punch, because that happened and I was crying, and then when, you know, Rocket revealed himself to Drax, Mantis, and Nebula, and then Nebula broke down, I was like, God damn.
Yeah, because one of the best developments that happened between the two movies was Rocket and Nebula's relationship. Like, the shot of them holding hands is still one that is very present in my mind. You know, when they're sitting there holding hands, I think they just got back from killing Thanos, right, or whatever, in Endgame. Yeah, am I wrong?
I think so.
Yeah. That moment, and they're holding hands. It's just like, Rocket, and also when Rocket asks, "Where's Nebula?" Like, as soon as he wakes up, like, that's one of the first things he asks, if not the first thing, if I remember correctly.
No, that's exactly what he asks.
Yeah, where's Nebula? It's like, like, you know, they love each other. It's so interesting how, like, the two most cynical members of the team are like, so they love each other. They love their team. They love their family. It's like, you have to be so fucking heartless to watch these movies and then not appreciate, like, not fucking get emotional and appreciate what happens, you know, or what's going on.
Yeah. You know, we didn't talk about Rocket's friends all that much. Lila, Teefs, and Floor. Who's your favorite?
Teefs.
Oh wait, I love Teefs. I love yeah.
Even though we all have them, mine's certainly the most prominent. I love him.
There's one thing I wanted to add. So, you know, like, there's like a running gag of, like, you know, guards and, like, you know, having, you know, stormtrooper aim, essentially, right, bro? Yeah. And then it fucking hit me, like, when the camera, like, or when it cuts to them, like, dead, they weren't trying to kill Rocket, they killed them. Bro, that fucking hurt me.
Yep.
Oh, dude.
It was so painful too, because, like, and I think, you know, Rocket probably felt a great deal of guilt too. It's like, they were asking him, like, let's go, like, we can go, like, let's run. Yeah. I mean, I just can't. That was such a sad scene. It was done so well, and it made it even more, like, bittersweet when Rocket died, and he's like, "Can I come?" Because, you know, he sees them, and
and she's like, "Of course." And I was like, "Nah,"
but not yet. And then the whole Rocket basically fucking, like, saying, "Well, there's fucking nothing. Like, there's nothing back there. Like, why the fuck would I want to?" You know what I mean? Like, why can't I just be here? Yeah. And that part made me cry too. When he said that, I was like, fuck.
Lila blatantly says it. Like, this has been your story all along.
Yep. So good. Holy fuck. And I honestly, and Rocket has always been in my S tier characters for a while. He's not my favorite character of all time, but he's like top 4. And I think not objectively, because there's no real objective measure, but fuck it, I think that he is a better developed character than Tony. And I think that Rocket is the most comprehensively developed, realized, and complex, character in the MCU thus far. Now, if I'm wrong, you can tell me. There's a lot of characters in the MCU. The only other character I'd say is Daredevil, but
I was going to say Nebula.
They're very Nebula. Oh my god, yeah. Oh my god, yes. Actually, yes. Rocket and Nebula.
Nebula.
They share that.
DD.
Daredevil. The only reason I'm hesitant to bring him up is because I don't know how the fuck they feel about him still. You know, development still, but we'll see.
Yeah. I think the last thing I want to say, God, this is definitely going to be one of those things where we stop recording. I'm going to remember something and I'm like, God damn, I wanted to talk about that. But I think the last thing I wanted to say is at the end of the movie, and it was my first thought, and I'm so glad James Gunn has since confirmed it. Thank God, because it's so brilliant when Groot says, "I love you guys."
Yep.
Yeah, and then like, yeah, you're finally understanding like what he's saying.
Yeah, because a lot of people are like, "Oh, he speaks now." Nah, we've been with the Guardians, we've been with this family for so long that, and they've been clear on it. Like, yeah, Groot's not really a known language, but if you're just around long enough, you know, you just start to get it. And we're finally at that point with the Guardians where we, as the audience, can understand Groot.
Yep,
That's fucking
we are
beautiful.
the family.
My only issue just sounds like Vin Diesel.
Well, it is Vin Diesel.
I know it's Vin Diesel, but it's like he's just like, I am Groot, and it's like I can in my brain be like, yeah, it's Groot, it's not Vin Diesel. He's just like, I love you guys. I'm like, that's just Vin Diesel.
Look, the only reason I care is because Vin Diesel's a creep. Have y'all seen that interview where he's like, I'm in love with you. I can't do this interview. Oh my God, she's so fucking beautiful. And he does it for like 3 minutes straight. It's for his Triple X movie. It is so cringe. It is in so many cringe comps.
I've never liked Vin Diesel. It's not, he's I don't know. He's never struck me as a.
He was drunk as fuck. He's drunk as fuck in a lot of interviews he shows up to. And he was saying, it was so embarrassing.
Remember when he was
like,
begging The Rock
to
be in Fast X, and he like posted a photo of him next to The Rock, and whether it was him or someone on his team photoshopped him to make him look bigger than The Rock.
Yep. Dude, Vin Diesel is just a fucking character. Did you see what he wore on the red carpet?
No.
A crew jacket. It was so fucking tacky. It looked like shit. I love that Bradley Cooper finally showed up to the premiere, and he was so wearing a shirt. Yeah, me too. Bradley Cooper, it's so funny because he just goes so incognito because Rocket is a collaborative effort. Obviously, Sean Gunn doesn't get nearly enough credit for, he does every facial tick, every fucking movement, twitch, whatever. And then Bradley brings it to life even further with an amazingly fucking nuanced, grounded performance. Rocket is just such a believable character. And like, yeah, like Bradley just goes so incognito because like, he doesn't have a lot of presence as an actor because you don't see his face. You know, Rocket is Rocket. Like, so when Brad, like, not many people think about Bradley Cooper, you know? But it was nice to see him there, even if it wasn't like a t-shirt and jeans. He's, we love him. He was cheesing the whole time. I think he understood, you know?
And it also just made sense for him to be there. Not only is it the final film, but it's Rocket's film.
Yeah.
So yeah, for him to be there was fucking amazing. And also, it's also really cool because we do barely see him, and he's not even asked about it all that much because he's not doing press for Guardians. He clearly, at least if he doesn't, he pretended like it very well, that he clearly loves doing this character. And it's just like he's one of those guys. If you have seen the behind the scenes of him, the little footage there is of him doing Rocket. He's very physical with it. He's clearly very into it, and that's always when you get the best performances from, you know, actors. Like Mark Hamill does it for Joker. Like when they're very physical, it's always really good.
There's just one line in Volume 2 that like, oh, I love it so much. It's when they're walking out of the broken ship, and they're on their way to, like, the team splits up the first time you hear the chain, and Guardians 2. And, you know, Gamora's saying, oh, okay, look after the ship, like, look after Groot, you know, make sure Nebula doesn't get away. And Rocket's like, okay. He says, okay, like, barely audibly. It's just like little shit, like little moments like that that are, like, so, like, informative to, like, Rocket's character. They're never, like, over the top. He's just, like, it just feels real. Yeah. And, Bradley is, he does it so amazing. I love that they didn't just hire like Bradley Cooper. Yeah, he's a celebrity, I guess, but holy fuck, dude, the chops on that guy. Jesus Christ. I mean, Vin Diesel all the fucker can say is I'm Groot. Okay, I'm sorry. Like he's just a face.
Yeah.
But Bradley Cooper is probably one of the main driving talents in the cast of Guardians.
I'm surprised we didn't see more of Adam Warlock and more so Cosmo. They weren't in it nearly as much as I thought they'd be, which is fine because it's, the main Guardians story. So ultimately, I'm fine with it. Just based off Cosmo's in it and the marketing, I thought they were going to be in it more. But
I Adam got more than I thought he would. I was kind of expecting he'd show up like for a few minutes at the beginning, die immediately, and then whatever. But he even has he even has his own arc, which is great. And I was Kraglin I thought was going to have a bigger part, but like it's not like I'm disappointed with the time he had. Like the time he had was used effectively.
And he has his own little mini arc with the arrow.
Yep.
Yeah. Technically Cosmo.
Cosmo has like a payoff. She's a good dog. Well,
what
please
a good
tell
movie.
me I'm a good dog. Yeah, fantastic movie. A fucking phenomenal film.
The excitement was through the roof for me. It was also just crazy on how the anticipation that I was experiencing, waiting outside the fucking theater for 5-6 hours.
It was like 4.5 hours.
4.5 hours.
Because
Jesus
we saw
Christ.
it early. I don't know. Did I say that already?
But you're still fake fans.
Only the biggest fans see it early.
That's
if you
not true.
If you didn't see it early, I can't imagine. Imagine if you're someone who their favorite movie of all time is Guardians 2, and then they don't see it early. You know what I mean?
I got tickets for as early as I thought I could. Oh, I did get a free poster. I got the IMAX.
Oh, so did we.
The marathon one. Yeah, I was worried. I was like, oh no, they won't have it. But nice. I just wish that. Oh, dude, I brought my fucking $300 hot toy to the fucking theater.
It's bold.
Yeah,
I'd be too scared. I'd drop it or
bold.
something.
I had a white knuckle grip on that thing. I brought a little bag that I could fold up and put in my back pocket. I took it out, placed it neatly onto the little table so I could put Star-Lord on it without him getting dirty. And I watched the movie, and my heart rate, dude, the whole movie, and I think it's just because it was, like I said, I've never been more excited to see anything in my life. And it was literally, I'm fucking tearing up right now. Okay, I'm gonna stop tearing up, but yeah, life-changing day. And my heart rate was really bad, and I have really bad anxiety, especially when it comes to my heart and stuff. I get very queasy.
High five.
And so high heart rates send me into fucking panic, and I'm like, oh god, I'm gonna have a panic attack in this movie, and I just kind of but yes, I did squirm, yes I did whatever, but I was so fucking wrapped up in the movie, and oh my god, I just remember, I think the part where I was I was sobbing my fucking eyes out like a baby was when Peter turned around for the zoo, and I was like, yeah, this is it. It's goodbye, Peter. Goodbye. And yeah, sorry, I know I'm dragging this out a long time, but cried a lot. I cried at moments that were minor. I cried a million times.
It was also one of those movies that James Gunn masterfully managed to position this film in a way where it's anyone could die, anyone could go, and then no one did. Everyone sort of gets their happy ending, which was,
we had our cake and ate it too.
Yeah. It was incredibly satisfying.
I'm sick of the notion that a lot of comics fans throw around. A lot
someone
of
has to die. There's no stakes.
Yeah, I think that's bullshit. And you have to. I mean, anyone with a fucking half a brain who thinks about it for just a little bit knows, right? It's not true. The joy, or sorry, not the joy. Jesus Christ. The benefit of a character's dying is, first of all, the emotions that we experience, and also the reaction of the world around them, the characters around them, how that fits into the story, whatever. So we got to have our cake and eat it too. And and everyone deserved the happy ending, but also like seeing Rocket die, we got to see the extent of how loved he was, like how everyone was just desperate to save him because, you know, he means the world to them because he's family. And then for Rocket, you know, like it's a little payoff for Rocket too, because he sees Lila and Florentiefs and they tell him like they're there and they're waiting for him, but there's more for him to do. Yeah, it's amazing. It's not like it's just a simple cheap fucking, it's not like it's a series of really cheap, annoying eye-rolling fake outs and then like everyone's fine and the ending is like
My only concern is that the fake outs might get repetitive on a rewatch.
On a rewatch, I can definitely see that, but
we'll see, I guess.
Yeah.
But this is random. Did Lila have the robot arms in the trailers?
I don't remember that, honestly.
Because I remember, because
right
obviously, you know, the trailers are the trailer. To see the trailer a bunch of times, you know, it's on fucking YouTube and shit. And there's always that shot of them hugging. And then I watched the movie, and I'm like, oh shit, she has robot arms. I'm like, wait, was that in the? Am I just blind? Like, maybe I'm just unobservant. I don't know.
No, yeah, she didn't have the arms. She didn't have the arms. Sorry, I thought I was muted. Jesus Christ, she didn't have the arms, the robot arms in the trailer, and I think that was a purposeful, because like if you weren't in the know, like Telltale Guardians game, like that's for a very select few people, like their introduction to Lila. It was mine. Lila and Rocket's relationship, how they try to escape together. Lila dies. That's Rocket's trauma in that game. And like, you know,
no, wait, she does have robotic arms.
Oh, she does?
Yeah.
Okay, well then fuck everything I said.
Well,
they're very long in the movie. They're very gangly.
Yeah, they are.
Very prominent. She's so hot.
What?
Huh?
Linda Cardellini. So part of me can't blame you.
Linda Cardellini's awesome. I'm so sorry. Please don't cut it.
That's I'm bleeping it. I'll bleep it.
Okay, yeah, bleep it. That's fun. That's good. Come on, that was funny as fuck.
Dude, top 10 like question scientific.
Are you gonna answer? That'd be so funny. It's the end of the podcast. What are the chances anyone's still here? What are the fucking chances?
Very small, but who knows?
Hey, if you found us by looking up Zack Snyder for this one, congratulations.
I almost forgot about that.
We're here to tell you we fucking hate him. We hate him. I'm just kidding. I actually love him. Like, okay, I actually don't love him. Army of the Dead sucks. If you're a Zack Snyder fan and you are coping with yourself and you believe that Army of the Dead was any fucking good, you're a fucking idiot. That's where I'll leave that. That's I'm done with the show. I'm good. Is that the show?
No, it's not. But that is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. We fucking loved it.